Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to another Coffee Times to discuss horror and books. And today, more than horror, I wanted to give you some winter book recommendations. So books that are horror thrillers or horror, but they're all kind of, you know, either in the snow or that have that wintry vibe, so that you guys can look for these kind of reads for the winter season. You can even extend this to January, February. It's still pretty cold in most countries, at least here in the Netherlands. January and February is still really cold. So here are 10 recommendations of horror winter books. And coffee. Coffee is good all year long. Same as spooky season. All year long.
It's coffee time.
Let's start, shall we? So we are going to start with Bone White by Ronald Malfi, and this one is a horror mystery thriller. If you've read Ronald Malfi before, you kind of know a little bit his style, which I really enjoy. We are in Alaska, hence comes here the wintry vibes, and we have a mass murderer that is actually helping the police to find his victims. He's basically leading the police to the graves that he has built for his victims. And so if you like stories about serial killers, this might be one that you want to pick up. So Paul travels to Alaska now that bodies have been found. His brother went missing a year ago, and he hopes that going to Alaska is going to bring him a little bit of closure after losing his twin brother. But when he gets there, he finds that the people in town are really weird. They start talking about the devil. Nobody really knows what happened to these people that disappeared, to Danny, his brother. And the more he researches, the more deeper into the mystery he's getting. So sounds great, I know. And also takes place in Alaska, which is perfect for winter, like a setting. So this one might be great if you have not read it, and obviously if you already know the author. Now we have a book that has been compared to be something between The Thing from John Carpenter and Jacob's Ladder, which is another great horror film. So if you're looking for something similar, we have Stranded by Brackett McLeod, and this is another horror thriller. And what it has in common actually with these two movies is that nothing is what it seems. So there is a crew that is investigating in the Arctic, and they find themselves in a kind of apocalyptic storm in the middle of it with no way of contacting, reaching anybody else. So they're basically fend to themselves, and they are trying to survive in this type of storm. And they are really lost. They don't even know where they are due to the snowstorm. And also one of them suddenly falls ill. One of them gets sick and they don't know what's going on with him. And so as it tends to happen, everybody else in the crew has a little bit of suspicion. You know, they grow suspicious about the guy that is sick. So, you know, this is definitely a reminder of The Thing. So if you like to see a crew of people struggling, trying to survive in the cold, where nothing is what it seems, this is for you. Then I wanted to add a horror paranormal series, so I wanted to mention the first book, and this is about werewolves. So if you're a fan of werewolves, you might want to try this series. It is called Frostbuy by David Wellington. We have a lost woman in the middle of the Arctic wilderness, and what she hears is something normally you don't want to hear when you're alone by yourself, probably lost, and that is a wolf. Our main character gets bitten after hearing a howling sound, and she starts to convert into something else, into a monster. So this is a book that kind of explores the thin line between man and beast, and humanity. So if this is what you're looking for, if you're looking for a classic wolf story, kind of a horror one based in a cold place, this might be perfect for you. Then we have Snowblind by Christopher Golden, and this is horror paranormal that also includes ghosts. They say this is a ghost story for the modern age. So if this is what you're looking for, if you've read anything else by the author, you also probably know if you like his writing style or not, because he also has a lot of books out there. We are in New England, Coventry, and they always have a lot of blizzards, but the one that they have now, it is different from every other one. The town is never going to be the same, and there are some icy figures that are appearing in the town. This one is for people obviously that love ghost stories and are looking for a cozy read for winter. It follows also what happened after this blizzard, so 12 years in the future, and we get to know the things that happened back in the past, and the town being reminded of everybody that they lost, and most probably the ghosts are gonna come back for more. The White Road by Sarah Lotz is another horror thriller. I feel like a lot of the wintry vibes ones tend to be horror thrillers. So we have a kind of a modern story here. We have somebody that is desperate to get subscribers, and he's also an adrenaline junkie, so he wants to make a video in some sort of like caves that are supposed to be dangerous, but he's doing it for the thrill and in order to get good footage material, in order to get more views and get more popular online. He ends up doing it and surviving, but then he's got a little bit greedy, so he decides next he's gonna do the Mount Everest, which we all know it's cold, it's not for everybody, it's really tough, and you might not make it out with all of your fingers and toes. That is just what it is. And this time we don't know if our main character is gonna make it out alive. And I decided this time I'm gonna recommend you a Stephen King book. I don't always do it, but I felt like this one was really fitting for winter vibes, and that is Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. And this is also horror sci-fi, so it's also giving you a little bit something different from just horror thrillers. In Derry, Maine, 4 boys stood together and did a really brave thing, but also something that they probably don't want to remember. Now, years later, they've all went their separate ways. They are now not boys, they are men, and they meet for a new kind of hunting trip. But this time something is different. There is this man that comes to their camp and starts kind of mumbling about things that come from the sky. And that is where a beautiful story starts. So the movie is also pretty good. I mean, it's not one of the worst adaptations from Stephen King, so I do recommend you guys to also check out the movie. Maybe you've already read the book, but maybe you've never seen the film. You can watch it this winter. It's good. I did want to recommend a middle grade, and the one that I have picked is one that just came out, and that is The Hunting of Evelyn Jones by Phil Hike. So this is number 3 on the Evelyn Jones series. So I don't know if you guys have picked up the other 2, but I did, and they were a lot of fun. You can still pick up the first book because it is still kind of, it has that fall autumnal vibe, so you're still gonna get a little bit of winter, I guess, nearly, but this one specifically is really wintry if you take a look at the cover, and I'm really excited to read this one during the Christmas season. Basically, Evelyn Jones has a different like adventure in every book, and all of these adventures have to do, like, are related to something spooky and creepy. In the first story, she found a diary from a girl that died, and she starts this connection with the dead girl. The second one was a complete different thing, and this one is also different, so that's what I love about it. We get like a kind of different subgenre almost of horror in every single book. So if you've never picked up the series and you're looking for a good middle grade, I do recommend you guys to pick these ones up. They're also really quick, easy reads, and they're just cozy and comforting. The Shuddering by Anya Alborn, and this is a horror paranormal thriller. They only come when it snows and barely anyone gets away. Listen, we have here a group of friends that are secluded in a cabin somewhere in the cold. That is already the perfect setting also for nearly any slasher horror movie, but in this case it's paranormal. There is a massive blizzard that leaves them kind of isolated, lost communication. That's what we love to see in horror. And then the realization that there is something lurking in the woods, something dangerous that might be coming for them, and they have no way to call for help. That's what we love to see. Who Goes There by John W. Campbell Jr. This is horror sci-fi, and I wanted to recommend this book because it has different stories, and one of the stories that it includes is the story that inspired the movie The Thing by John Carpenter. So that's the reason why I picked up this book, because I had never read the story that originated the movie, so I wanted to make sure that I would pick it up and read it. I really enjoy it, and it's obviously based in a really cold place, so it is perfect for winter season. I feel everybody knows the story about The Thing, but basically we are in the Antarctic and we're following a crew that is doing there some investigations, and they come across something that was hidden and has been awakened, and that is a shapeshifter, which complicated things because nobody knows who is this creature, since it changes shapes into all of the different guys there. So it is really good. If you've never seen the film, watch it please. It does have a lot of body horror, but it's great. And the last one I wanted to mention is a classic, and that is Black Christmas by Lee Hayes from 1976. If I'm not wrong, I believe the movie was first and then the book came out later, inspired on the film. I do recommend you to check the classic Black Christmas. There's a couple of remakes which were not great, so if you're gonna check out one of the films, check the original. So basically this is about a sorority, and we have there some girls that are spending the Christmas winter season, and they start to get calls and being terrorized by someone that is threatening them. Things escalate, people die. It is great. So I do recommend you guys the book and the first original film that inspired the book. The other remakes that I have seen, I've seen someone from the early 2000s, and then the last one that they did, I think in 2019. Not a fan. So I would recommend you to go with the original film. Alright guys, so these were 10 winter book recommendations that are kind of horror thriller, horror sci-fi, something paranormal as well here and there. So I hope that you enjoyed the list. Let me know down below what is another horror book that you would recommend for the winter season. Of course, I have other ones of my favorites, like The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon and Near the Bone by Christina Henry, but I've already mentioned these ones before in a previous video that I did about, I think, Christmas recommendations or winter recommendations, so I didn't want to mention them again, but those are solid recommendations if you still have not read them. Alright you guys, as I said, let me know down below your recommendations. Add it to my TBR pile as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!